Got kickoff of the game right now. Saints, Carolina Panthers. We're watching this game unfold right here. And while I'm doing that, I will be discussing, as we watch a little bit of this game together, what we do, how we navigate the crazy, treacherous waters right now of fantasy football, walking into the remaining part of the fantasy football season. So file on in, get ready. We've got a lot of honest conversations to have walking into the remaining part of the season. Look, adjust and adapt season's upon us. This is where we separate the ballers from the cry over spilled milk fantasy football owners. And we adjusted and adapted last season. We had Breece Hall, Javonte Williams both go down with torn ACLs. We adjusted and adapted. This is the moment walking into week 3 as we watch this game here, though. Closing out week 2, these 2 games. This is where we say to ourselves, what has happened doesn't necessarily matter. What is going to happen? And we got to let go of some of our preconceived notions and rankings and thought processes and say, let's reset. Let's reset all of our rankings going forward. Let's reset all of our bold predictions. Who are the Moon Men? Who are the Mars Men? And so I decided, you know what? How limiting is it? We'll always keep the Mars Men and Moon Men pre-season, pre-kickoff locked in for records and everything like that. But it does no good to reflect on what we thought in the preseason. So I thought about it last night, and I said to myself, why are we saying we can't have an ongoing, additionally, an ongoing Mars Men, an ongoing Moon Men list? And I'm here to do one thing. I'm not going to be perfect. I'm not. I know some people said, Smitty, stop being so hard on yourself. I am going to be hard on myself. Anytime I miss any prediction, I'm going to be hard on myself. I work for you guys, and I take it personally, even when one of my predictions doesn't go well. But what we need to do, ladies and gentlemen, is decide how to take a week 3 on type of mentality and say, what does Joe Burrow mean right now? It doesn't matter what we said in the preseason. If we hang on to the Moon Men and Mars Men list from anything but a historical perspective take, and we start shoveling that down everybody's throat, even our own throat, we'll miss out on the adjusting and adapting that needs to happen. So what I have done, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just watching all this right here. I have taken a new approach to the Mars Men and Moon Men. Again, preseason, we've locked that in. We've got it historically for record. But when we reflect on the Mars Men and Moon Men moving forward, we must establish a rolling, ongoing, ever-changing, evolving door Mars Men and Moon Men list, because that's what you're here for. You're not here for pre-week 1. You're here for what do I do in week 3. And so here's the new reset Mars Men list that we will add to throughout the week.
He's on a shuttle to Mars. Mars Men.
And we'll take it from there. The Fantasy Football Show begins now.
Loads dropping and spinning aimlessly in space.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot to talk about in regards to week number 3 moving forward, and of course the closing out of week number 2 as the Saints and Panthers are in the first quarter. 12:45 left, or it looks like 12. And so we'll get into that. We'll get into the box scores of that and check it out. But this is going to be interesting to watch this game unfold. Bryce Young, everything going on in this game. We'll have a lot to discuss, so hang tight. But we are here to reset our thinking. We're here to let go of everything we knew coming into week 1. And that's the toughest part about fantasy football. I swear to you, for the 20-plus years I've been doing this, I still struggle to an extreme degree to letting go. I think I do a better job of most at adjusting and adapting and admitting things like here's the new Moon Men list, and it only goes without saying here that we need to admit when we're wrong. We need to admit when we're wrong. And right now, our new reset Moon Men list will begin with the following individuals.
The Moon Men, dropping loads in outer space.
And I know you guys are going to enjoy this one because we have a lot of Puka Nacua fans, but you recognize, game recognizes game, and this is how we're going to approach the Moon Men and Mars Men going forward. We're going to keep the statistical, a record of what we, talk about in the offseason and such, but we can't sit there and just keep pumping out a Moon Men and Mars Men list that's evolving. I sat here all last night saying, why am I going to just keep hanging on to the past when the past doesn't matter in week 3? It doesn't. It means nothing. And if we start reshaping our thinking from even the players we bring up on the screen, it might stop us from going down a dark path of, hey, we liked him in the offseason, we have to keep liking him. Now, a lot of the guys are going to pop up on the Moon Men list from the previous list, okay? So, for example, let's put Jahmyr Gibbs on there because Jahmyr Gibbs should be a freaking Moon Man.
The Moon Men, dropping loads in outer space.
And we'll add to this throughout the week. I might even do a separate show to it, but this is a buy low player that a lot of people doubt right now, and that's fine by me. That's fine by me. I could care less who doubts Jahmyr Gibbs or thinks he's not going to do great things. I'm going to believe in this man. I'm going to keep buying this man. I believe that he's got a great opportunity that, should have been there in this game the moment Monty went down, but it wasn't. And it is what it is. But your boy is here to let you know that Moon Man extraordinaire, Jahmyr Gibbs, is here to stay. And that's not bias at all. Like, for me to come out and tell you I'm clearing the Moon Men list, I'm clearing the Mars Men list, that right there tells you I'm bringing no bias to the table. Joe Burrow's not on it. Jamar Chase is not on it. Right now we're starting clean. We're starting clean, and these are the 3 first Moon Men going forward. And we'll add to it, like I said, Olave, Jordan Love, Bryce Young. I don't even know where that was going. So we're watching this game right here, ladies and gentlemen. So hang tight as we navigate this game in the pregame going forward. Travis says kind of confused on what? Is Breece Hall a Moon Man? Yes. Breece Hall's a Moon Man. In fact, I want to talk about Breece Hall real quickly. Breece Hall's not happy. Breece Hall said, I only got 4 touches. That's why we struggled. It is what it is. Can everybody see the screen? Can everybody see the screen? Because last night we had some problems with the graphics not showing up on the screen, and I just want to make sure everybody can see everything. Let me pull up the stream actually, and make sure I can see it on my phone, because last night I was going for like 10 straight minutes, and I couldn't see. There it is. Everything is on the screen. Okay. Gibbs is not getting the full workload. Well, Dan, that's something I'm going to beg to differ on. And not to mention, it doesn't matter if he's getting the full between the tackles workload. We never expected that to begin with. Like, Jahmyr Gibbs is a guy that's getting receptions. He's getting a complement, an assortment of work that ranges from 4, 5, 6 receptions and 12 carries. So no one's expecting him to get all the work between the tackles. I don't want him to get all the work between the tackles. But we are going to reset our thinking, and this has me saying on the Moon Men list,
the Moon Men, dropping loads in outer space,
that let's put Puka where he deserves to be. This is admitting that this man looks phenomenal, and they're feeding him. This guy, this is not a double down moment. I wouldn't be here telling you we're resetting our thinking if I was doubling down on this guy. This is just an absolute go-get must explode player, and I think people are sleeping at the wheel on Jahmyr Gibbs. Why won't this adjust? This freaking... I'll have to adjust it later and make it nice and clean. Breece Hall is absolutely still a Moon Man going forward. I think he's a buy low. Probably my 2 best buy low running backs walking into the remaining part of the season are Jahmyr Gibbs and Breece Hall. And if people have a problem with that, I get it. I understand it. I'm not mad at anybody for disagreeing. It's okay if you disagree. That's fine. But Breece Hall is absolutely one of the best buy low running backs in fantasy football 2023 week 3 moving forward. So we'll put Breece Hall on this list. Right now, and again, this will evolve, resetting our thinking, go forward, in-season, rolling, Moon Man thinking, because the past doesn't matter. Jordan Love is exploding, a guy we loved. It's not like this is a new person for us. Breece Hall, people are doubting him like crazy. He's a buy low. Gibbs, buy low. Puka, I doubted Puka. Puka's for real. This is the Moon Man list. This is the Moon Man list right now, evolving in front of your very face. Let me get to these super chats in 1 second. Watching this game here. So Breece Hall's not happy, and I don't blame him. The question is, and this is where we have to be honest with ourselves, will he get fed? Will this situation, will Nathaniel Hackett be able to put his horrible meat paws on this situation and absolutely destroy Breece Hall's upside for the remainder of the season? There's some risk involved. That's why you're getting a chance to buy him low. But I do believe that every single part of this situation is high risk, high reward. Like, there's no way this is not a high risk, high reward play in Breece Hall right now. But because I believe that there's so many people that doubt him, even his owners looking to trade him off at nowhere near top 5 to 10 running back potential, I think it's worth the risk in almost every facet. I think you could accumulate a whole bunch of amazing talent that like Hall and like Gibbs that can help you win your league at pricing that you won't see 2-3 weeks from now. So this is a player you go buy low, just like Jahmyr Gibbs. But the problem is there is risk. Like, everyone needs to understand, there is risk that they don't feed him properly. There is risk that this offense doesn't get going or move down the field. There's risk that they stick with Zach Wilson all year. And that's better than some quarterbacks that I can imagine, because he still fed Garrett Wilson yet another touchdown. And Garrett Wilson's another player we need to talk about. I don't know that he's Moon Man material, but I think he's a good buy low, because I think his owners, despite having 2 touchdowns in 2 weeks, still doubt the hell out of him. And I think everybody that has, I'm watching this game here, sorry I'm seeming distracted, Bryce Young looks lost, and the Saints D is obviously very good, and they're giving him fits. There's a lot of concern, and a lot of upside with Hall. That's the bottom line. All right, agree. Changing the Moon Man list just after 2 weeks is mind-boggling. It's not mind-boggling, bro, because it's not like we're changing the Moon Man list. We're changing our thinking. We're walking into the remaining part of the season with a new mindset. I've already said the Moon Man list preseason isn't changing. It's locked in. It's a matter of record. But do you want me to sit here and keep showing a list to you where there are questions? It's not about backtracking or changing. Like I said, I sat there last night and said to myself, why would I continue to shove a list out there and be like, this is the guy, these are the guys, because that's what you're going to see. And there'll be a lot of repeats. It's basically going to be a system of, do we take him on, or do we put him back on? Do we put him back on, or do we take him off? I mean, everyone needs to understand and relax. You need to look at this from a different perspective. Okay, let me get to these super chats real quick. Young with a $2 hauler. I need a phone call, Smitty. I'm in trouble. The phone lines will be open in a minute. I don't know how long the phone lines will be open today, but we'll certainly probably have a little sesh going on. So appreciate you. This one's from Lego. Let me see if I can get the background of this a little bit darker. Hold on a second, because it's a little hard to read. And then let me see if I can put a little border around that so it's a little easier. There we go. And then a little margin or two. There we go. Okay. This one's from Lego. Let's go, Smitty. Appreciate you, Lego, dropping the $20 hauler.
Alert. Super chat alert.
My man, Lego, appreciate you. This one here is from Dan, the Grim Reacher. Dan, appreciate you, Dan. Dan dropping a super right here. Dan says, inbox offer, running back 3, trade Mike Connor for Najee. I would sit and wait on the game and watch the game and let the game answer your question. You know what I mean? But I tend to want to say Najee now, but We got to see how things play out with the game. Trade Chase, who 911 Burrow might be sitting. Trade for Chase. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see on Burrow, bro. It depends on what you can get for Chase. It totally depends on what you can get for Chase. He is redoing the Moon Man list, says Fantasy Team. Look, let me just say something one more time for everybody that's confused as to what's going on. We're not necessarily redoing the Moon Man list. Maybe we need to rename it something, because if everybody can't, if some people, not everybody, if some people can't understand my point and direction with this, maybe it needs to be a in-season Galaxy Man list. Because I have a feeling everyone's taking this the wrong way. That is taking it the wrong way. We have to understand what we're doing here. We're not coming in saying, let's stick with the preseason, nothing changes. We have to have a new, fresh mindset of adjusting and adapting. If we keep throwing up a list that is changing and evolving, and we've had Aaron Rodgers go down, and Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson are on this list, what do you want to do? Do you want to continue to shove out the same list that's enduring all these problems? I don't want to get rid of it or erase it from our minds. It's there historically. I have it saved. We can reflect on the pre-week 1 Moon Man list. But why in the hell would anybody want a not updated, fresh, here are the 10 guys to own right now based on value list? That's what I don't understand, why there would be even a hint of pushback. A hint of pushback. I don't even understand why there would be a hint. All these new guys are tripping. Smitty works for us. Everybody wants. Thanks, Slayer. Appreciate you. I just don't get it. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna move on. Because there's about 4 or 5 people that just can't grasp it, and that's fine. Let them feel how they want to feel about it. We're moving on. Slayer, appreciate you. Let's play it by ear this week. I'm not saying that Ja'Marr Chase is in a good buy low, but there are certain things we need to consider and be worried about in terms of Joe Burrow going down, and maybe his calf is not going to be an issue. Maybe he's out 2 or 3 weeks. We don't know. Nobody knows. There's a lot of speculation out there right now on it. Nobody knows. Trade away Hall and Christian Watson for Ja'Marr Chase. Again, I don't think you can make that decision right now. As of this moment, I would say stand down on acquiring Ja'Marr Chase, especially when I think Christian Watson will return and be great, especially when I believe that we are looking at a Breece Hall eventual rising. So I don't know that I like that one either. Nathan Smitty, I never heard of Puka until your show, and I listened to a lot of fantasy content. Got him around 18. We did talk about him. Like, I do want people to understand, we talked about Puka a lot during the offseason. Your boy, admittedly, coming out of week 1, didn't like him as much as everybody else in here. And I've already come to terms with that and said, you know what? They're feeding the hell out of this kid. And as long as he stays healthy, which I think they're going to break him, I do love him. But we talked about Puka all offseason in best ball drafts as being a great guy to grab at the end of the draft. I have a lot of teams with Puka in best ball. But honestly, Puka looks so much better than I gave him credit for walking into week number 2. Appreciate you, Nathan, for coming in here and dropping the super chat. Spacula says James Cook to Mars. Also buy on Anthony Richardson, last chance. Yeah, AR5 being injured right now. He's a great buy low, but there also is some risk just that he runs so much that he'll get hurt. But who cares at this point with some quarterbacks in shambles? He's a great player to add. 0-2, trade Andrews, Jamal Williams, Shaheed for Kittle, Walker, and either Debo or Puka. I personally would take this trade. Yes, 1,000%. 1,000%. And I'd take either Debo or Puka. Either one, whichever one can get that deal done, that's a fantastic trade, bro. I like it a lot. I don't know if you can get Sharps in there. Trade Kyren and Mike Williams for Garrett Wilson. This is one of those, what do we feel moving forward on Kyren? Kyren looked fantastic. Is there a chance Kyren Williams is the real deal all season long? There is. Is there a chance Garrett Wilson just is such an amazing player that and he has 2 touchdowns in 2 weeks. We have to acknowledge that. But is there a chance that Garrett Wilson, somehow, some way, just like has 40 yards each week, and eventually you're like, I don't even know if I can start him as my wide receiver 3. I should have took Mike Williams and Kyron Williams. And Kyron could be like a top 12 to 15 running back. I'm not saying he can't be higher than that. Mike Williams, until he gets hurt, at any moment could have a big, game and have a big couple weeks in a row. So, yeah. Let's see here. DJ Mason. Loved watching the show when I actually had a lot of movement and Marsman guys. Redoing the list now makes it feel bad. Why does it feel bad? Why does it feel bad to, like, we're not redoing the list. We're doing a new in-season list, bro. Like, how hard is it to understand this? I don't understand. I don't understand why you would want me to come in and take the same list no matter what's changing and say these are the continued Moon Men. I don't understand that at all. Why would that be good for you? Like, maybe it's my fault for not just coming in and saying Moon Man, Mars Man, whatever. That's the theme of the show. I don't want to take it away and just rebuild some new avenue like the Galaxy Men. I want to literally say who are the Mars Men and Moon Man. But maybe we have to. Maybe there's too many people that aren't going to be able to understand the value of trying to redo this. It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. I mean, goodness gracious. Why don't we stick to the whole list? And no matter what, Aaron Rodgers goes down, it's still, no matter what, still the same list. Some guys are going to step up above Garrett Wilson. That's the nature of injuries. Trade Kyron. I'd probably take Garrett Wilson, but bro, that could change in a snap. It's not as crazy of a question a week from, or I think every minute you walk deeper into the season, maybe that Kyron Williams side looks better and better and better, and eventually it passes that Garrett Wilson side. I'm just letting you know that possibility exists, but I think at this moment in time, I would bank on Garrett Wilson. Fields, Brian Robinson, Gibbs, London, Dotson, Kelsey, Pacheco, Terry McLaurin, Kirk, McKinnon. I am 0-2, bro. Fields is a big problem. Do you get out of the Fields business? Hopefully you got Jordan Love. Put Jordan Love in. I mean, don't wait a single moment longer. Put Jordan Love in. That's why you got Jordan Love. As far as these other guys, Kelsey's back. You had a tough week 1 because Kelsey wasn't there. Kelsey didn't even blow up in week 2. He caught a touchdown. It was great. Bijan Robinson's just getting going. Gibbs in London. I think this team's fine. I don't think I panic on this team. Would I sell a Kirk high? Would I try and maybe move a player like Kelsey or Bijan? No. I think I wait on Gibbs. I let this ride out. Your team is actually pretty solid. You just need to let it kick into gear. Traded away Garrett Wilson, Javonte for Hall and Puka. I like that. Smitty approved that trade. That trade is the kind of trade to kind of like quietly back out of a situation you're a little bit worried about. Trade away Jameer for Swift. I could get behind that too. I mean, they're both very, very good players, and Swift will probably be a Moon Man still. And that's the whole point of this show. T. Higgins. Let's see here. Mitch with a $5. I have Tyreek, Olave, Waddle, Puka, Mike, Will, Pickens. Trade away Olave plus Waddle for Chase and Watson. Olave plus Waddle for Chase and Watson. I'd say Olave and Waddle. I mean, keep your finger over the button if it's an offer sitting on the table. Watch tonight and see what's what. But I mean, Waddle's in concussion protocol, but I don't know that move necessarily is a move I'd make with Chase in limbo right now, with Burrow in limbo. And he trades to make 0-2. T-Law, Love, put Love in your lineup for now. Chase, Adams, you can't trade Chase high unless you can back into a potential Olave, unless you can back into a potential Diggs or St. Brown. Some people will make that move right now before, and maybe no news gets announced on Burrow sitting a week or anything. But if Burrow sits a week, then you might not be able to trade Chase for that. Adams, I would, I'm selling Adams still. Gibbs, I'm holding. Rashad White's got some trade potential. ETN, I'm holding. Pickens, we'll see what happens. So this is a good team that maybe T-Law to a quarterback needy owner that has his quarterback room in shambles, where T-Law looks like an attractive buy low. Maybe that makes some sense for you. Avoid any trades Oh, that was the same question. Appreciate you. This is Ryan. Ryan right here. Appreciate you, Ryan. Let me go ahead and make sure I have all these super chats here. Ryan, should I sell high on Debo or T. Higgins? Depends on the offer. I would probably sell high on T. Higgins before I'd sell high on Debo. Because T. Higgins might be without Burrow. We don't know. He might not be. Should I sell high on Debo? Chase traded Swift and Kamara. Traded Swift and Kamara got Chase. I don't think I would have done that because I think we're not sure what's in store for Chase. I like Chase a lot, but Kamara's coming back. Swift is balling. I don't know if it's not a horrible trade. It could definitely work out in your favor, but I don't know that that's my favorite move. Who's a good wide receiver to target with Josh Jacobs? Diggs, St. Brown, Ridley right now being banged up would be a great player to maybe go get using that type of thinking, bro, because Ridley looking banged up but not feeling like a concern. Let's see here. Gibbs, Chubb, Ridley, Debo, Laporta, Garrett Wilson, bench Zay, Pickens, Roshan. Hopefully Pickens, does something. Trade Gibbs and Wilson for a top 5 running back. No, I think that thins your team out so much. How is that going to help you go from 0-2, to 2-2 immediately? You're getting rid of 2 of your big pieces you drafted. I think you're better off banking on Garrett Wilson and banking on Gibbs and letting this team almost crash and burn on those 2 pretty nice players that I in some sense want people to go trade for on the cheap versus selling them low. And what's a top 5 running back right now? If you can't get Bijan, what you won't. If you can't get Christian McCaffrey, what you won't. Who's the top 5 running back? ETN could be 5 or 10 to some people. So it's like, I don't know. What is it? The running back rankings are in shambles right now. Barkley injured, which we got to go over some of that news. Did I miss anybody's super chat? Let me hit this news real quick. Brandon Ayuk, too early to provide an update on Brandon Ayuk's shoulder, said Kyle Shanahan. This news right here, Deontay Johnson placed on injury reserve, which we're very excited about. Calvin Austin this tonight. So if you need a wide receiver, definitely go looking in that direction quickly before Calvin Austin plays, because Calvin Austin could have a really, really nice game. So everybody get on board that train as quickly as you can. Let's see here. What's the other piece of news? Niner Richard saying I'm backpedaling. Okay, Richard, you don't have to be here. If this isn't a show you enjoy, no one's asking you to come watch. Backpedaling or adjusting and adapting. Backpedaling would be me saying I don't like this guy, and just completely, absolutely running from everything I've said, taking the Moon Men list and reshaping it. Don't you see? Don't you see, broski?
Likened to pyramids in
The Moon Men, dropping loads in outer space.
Don't you see 2 familiar faces on this list, bro? I do. Is it dismantled, or are we adding to it and adjusting, adapting with a guy that we loved all off season long anyways? So, you do what you got to do, bro. No one's forcing you to watch, Richard. No one's forcing you to watch. Fields, wide receiver Devontae Adams is good after taking a huge hit yesterday. Jacoby Myers is headed in the right direction. Keep tabs on Adams. This is good if you're trying to trade him away. And let's see here. There's another piece of news here. Barkley has a sprained ankle. Obviously, this turned out to be a regular sprain, which is good, but he's still considered at least likely to miss 2 weeks. Could be longer. So be prepared to be without Barkley for at least two weeks. At least 2 weeks. And Goran, you're already on thin ice here. So if I were you, I'd be very, very careful with what you say tonight. Let me just say that, Goran. I'll just tell you that right now. Okay, trying to see if anybody's got any dire needs. Where are we on this super chat? I think I've got everybody covered up to Josh Jacobs' question, right? So DH's question, 0-2, have Watson, Gibbs. Have Watson, Gibbs, Chubb, Ridley, Debo, Laporta, Pickens, trade Gibbs and Wilson for a top 5. Okay, I got that one. That was the one I already got to. Thank you. Appreciate that. Shuttle to the Moon Men, the new people at first. Shuttle to the Moon Men for the new people at first. Okay, appreciate you, Just Sherman, for dropping that. Yeah, Goran, you're on such thin ice. I'm just know that I'm watching your every message. I'm watching every single message you post. Okay, Goran. Thanks, Goran. Appreciate you being here. There. He said this is his last show, so that's good. All right. Next super chat. Appreciate you all being here. And I do appreciate every single one of you that are in here to be a positive, productive person here in the chat. What's good, Smitty? Just logged on. You may have covered this, but what is your take on Pierce, Gibbs, Javonte, and Cook rolls with 123 yards and Brees gets bait? Could use whiteboard. Kirk, appreciate your $10 hauler. To answer your question on this slew of players right here, I would say Pierce we're very, very questionable on right now. Is he a flex play? Yes. Is he someone you cut? Absolutely no. I have so many people saying, Smitty, do I cut Dameon Pierce? You can't cut Dameon Pierce. You can't cut Dameon Pierce. You just can't. Restarting Love over Fields? Absolutely, Frank. Until further notice. This is why you drafted Jordan Love. As for Gibbs, I'm buying low, and I trust in Gibbs. I think they try and get him the football, and they're going to game plan for it. They didn't have a game plan for it. I do believe he's going to get fed. They drafted this man for a reason. I don't think they're going to DeAndre Swift him. I think they watch Swift blow up, and they probably think we got to do this too. Javonte, I don't know. Javonte is a great flex to bench running back that you wait on, and you almost have to wait. James Cook looked really, really solid. I hope they continue to use him. The problem has never really been his talent. It's been that they don't use running backs consistently, but maybe they are, and they figured out a process that works for them, and it worked on Sunday. So Cook is a nice low-end running back, 2 or flex play lock going forward. And Brees, I'm buying low on. I don't know what you exactly mean here, but just saying that I'm buying low on Brees. There's some concern, but I believe all that concern is absolutely baked into his value. So really, really love Brees Hall from a buy low perspective. Is there worry and risk? Absolutely. Offer Gibbs for my Kenneth Walker. You're probably better off having Kenneth Walker right now, because he scored 2 touchdowns and is a very productive player, whereas Brees Hall, there's still some risk. Why you're buying low, there's some risk. Offer Gibbs for... Oh, that was the same one. Thank you. Appreciate you, bro. Recovery dropping this super chat here. Smitty need 13 points for Olave and Freiermuth to win. 2-0. Fields didn't help. Might start Love next week. You got to start Love next week. You're not being a panic Peter. Put Love in. Love has earned it. And I think you probably get that in this game, bro. I think you're gonna be very, very solid. 420 crew, appreciate you, David. Ronnie coming in with a strong super chat here. Ronnie, Olave, Dell, or St. Brown JSN. I'm gonna go probably. Man, I'm watching this game like a hawk. I still love St. Brown. He's still a midseason monster. The midseason monster list has not changed. Even Roshan and Herbert to a degree are still on my midseason monster radar, but right now there's a concern, of course, that this offense looks crappy. Midseason monster, midseason monster, midseason monster, and midseason monster. Those players haven't changed. I really, really think they're all going to do well. So this one, I'm going to probably watch the remaining part of this game to decide whether Olave needs to get that button pushed. You know what I mean? Like if Olave has a mediocre day, I probably lean St. Brown. But if Olave looks like Carr and Olave have 100% cemented in their rapport, and I'm feeling amazing about it, I'm going to roll with it, bro. Should I trade away Garrett Wilson, Puka, and Algier for Olave and Kyron Williams? Maybe. Again, same thing for you, bro. I'm watching this game like a hawk, and if I see Olave blow up, I'm pressing the button on the Olave side. Just because we'll have 2 games in a row to know how Derek Carr and him are gonna collide and what kind of result we're gonna get. Adjust and adapt season. We're here with you, Smitty. I appreciate it, Sick Nasty. Olave, baby. Olave.
A top 5 wide receiver hides among the people. His cost of entry is near illegal. Few see him coming. Many stay away. His name is Chris Olave.
The Moon Men, dropping loads in outer space.
Let's take Kamara right now and place Kamara over on said Moon Men list.
The Moon Men, dropping loads in outer space.
You know what's hilarious is people were wanting the Moon Men list to revolve throughout the season anyway. Like I'd always get requests, can the Moon Men list revolve? No, we're going to lock it in just for record, in which we have done. But now I'm getting pushback from some people that I believe don't have their own best interest in mind to keep it and not change it, not adapt it. Not that we aren't keeping the original Moon Man list for record. Of course we are. Of course we did. We kept the 2022 season for record. But we didn't just take the 2022 season Moon Man list and carry it through to 2023. It's the same thing. It's the same concept. Why would we stick to it? Let's see here. We got Ty Lee dropping a $20 hauler. I never thought Ty Lee would make me stand up.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Maybe Ty Lee's video got out, and that's how Burrow's calf got injured again. Bro, 10-man PPR suggestions, QB, Burrow, Love. Ty Lee, how are you a Burrow owner when you said that the Burrow footage was going to get out and ruin him? Like, what are we doing here? You put Love in. Love's your starting quarterback right now until we know what's up with Burrow. ETN and Walker, those are good RBs. Kyron Williams is your third running back now, and you trust the process on that. Garrett Wilson, Waddle, assuming if he's fine from the concussion protocol. You got 2 good receivers. Kirk is a decent sell high. Javonte and Kirk together maybe get you some sort of crafty, undervalued player. Good buy lows would be A.J. Brown, which I don't think you get using Kirk and Javonte, but I've seen crazier things go down. Mark Andrews caught a touchdown. I'd probably sell him high if I could. Pick up another tight end. It depends on who's available and who does. Like Juwan goes nuts tonight or something like that. There's some options, but I probably, if I'm looking for a way to upgrade into a stud wide receiver, maybe an A.J. Brown and something, I'd trade away potentially Andrews. That is the weak point but high sell point for this team, in my opinion. At least projected potential weak point. Just because the guy, I just don't know if he's going to stay healthy. Trade Garrett Wilson for Kenneth Walker. I'd rather have Kenneth Walker in a millisecond. Saul, and I hate to say that. It pains me to say that, but the situation has to be recognized. Wilson and Swift for Chase. I don't know if I'd do that right now, Overcome, until we find out Burrow's good to go for this week. There's some thinking that Burrow might be out a week or two, and that's speculation across the industry. We're not quite hearing that from the team, but given that he re-injured potentially his calf, I can't imagine him playing this week, but he very well could, and maybe it's considered some sort of like cramping in the area that was injured, and with some weird explanation for it. But as of this moment, we might be without Joe Burrow for a week or two. Should I trade away Derrick Henry for Kamara and Pittman? I don't think you're getting enough. I think Kamara is the right idea, but go after a Debo. Go after a freaking player that has a little more upside than Pittman. my team right now, Hurts, Henry, Brees, it's a good team. I'd contemplate selling high on Keenan Allen. I'm not saying Keenan Allen can't continue to play well. He had an absolutely solid game in week number 2. But I would definitely potentially look to sell high if I need to make moves and maneuvers. Rockout says up 119.78 to 118.94. Got Olave. My opponent has Harris. I don't anticipate Harris outscoring Olave, so I think you probably will be good. Rockout. That's a great job, bro. That's awesome, my guy. Pittman to the moon. He's not gonna be a moon man, but I can't blame anybody for loving Pittman, for liking his quarterback, his exciting quarterback in Anthony Richardson that looks like a top, 5 to 10 quarterback potentially, especially with quarterbacks in shambles. We're gonna do like a re-ranking running back, wide receiver, quarterback, maybe separate video for each position show this week. We have to. You heard Burrow could end up on IR off of a lot of speculation. I'm not saying it won't happen, but anybody saying that is literally just guessing, trying to guess ahead of the news. I can promise you that, because from his coach's mouth, they don't know. Only Burrow. He said it's up to Burrow what happens and goes forward. So let's not pretend like any of the speculative pieces out there, or people floating out that Burrow might end up on IR. You're hearing Burrow might end up on IR. That is somebody trying to predict ahead of the news to be right on it. There's no indication that Burrow is going to be on IR yet. So be careful what you're listening to. The reason people are projecting that is because of their early bye week. And a lot of people think they will potentially, and it could be right. Like I said, it's predicting what might happen, not that anybody's suggesting it. The early bye week is placed in a way that you would think, okay, if they sat Burrow for a couple weeks and then headed into the bye week, that he could get better. What do I think of Gibbs, Kamara, DJ Chark in Dynasty? Gibbs for Kamara and DJ Chark. I'd rather have Gibbs in Dynasty. The fact that you can get Gibbs right now, that's pretty awesome. That you can get Gibbs at that price tag. I like Kamara this year, but not from a dynasty perspective. Thank you, Rockout, for the super chat. Thank you, Bandy, for the super chat. Thank you, Overcome. Thank you, Saul. Thank you, Ty Lee. Thank you, Sick Nasty. Thank you, Excellence. Thank you, Ronnie. Thank you, David. Thank you, Recovery. Thank you, Max. Thank you, Kirkwood. Thank you, Sherman. Thank you, DH. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Chase. Thank you, Ryan, Cooper, Mitch, KH3, Nev. Appreciate you, Nev. Michael, Vegas, Trone, Spacula, Nathan, Fu, Slayer, Dan the Grim, Lego with the $20
To the moon.
Hauler, Ty Lee with the $20
To the moon.
Hauler, and Young with the first super chat of the night. Young, appreciate you dropping the first super chat of the night. All first super chats get a standing O. Let me just take a quick gander at the comments here. Pickens overrated. Maybe. We'll see, bro. We'll see. I don't necessarily agree with that comment. He's played 1 week. Played against the Niners, which, look, the Niners got routed by the Rams. So, but it was a tough matchup for the Steelers in week 1. Give Puka and Kyron and get Chase. There's pros and cons to that, bro. Like, could Puka outscore Chase for the next 4 weeks? He could. Because Chase, if he doesn't have Burrow, what does Chase become? He gets regulated down to like a wide receiver 2. Puka might be playing above that. So there's pros and cons to that. As crazy as that sounds, if you knock someone on the head and woke them up in week number 3, right before week 1, they would be like, what universe am I in right now? What universe am I in? We have somebody dropping, I think, these might be some renewals. Let me mute this right here just so we don't. What a crazy weeks 1 through 2. We gotta adjust and adapt, people. We got to. Your Moon Men list is evolving. It's not erased. It's not wiped out.
The Moon Men, dropping loads in outer space.
There's a reason we call this Adjust and Adapt
Space Monsters
country. We are Adjust and Adapt country. That's how we roll. Kirkwood dropping a super on screen. Appreciate you, Kirkwood, dropping a 20. Brian dropping a 25 on screen. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. Overcome with the $4 hauler. Ty Lee with another. Thank you, Smitty. Appreciate your fantasy content. Hope Joe Burrow gets back to balling. You get that video and you burn it. You burn it, Ty Lee. We don't need that right now. Even we're dealing with his injury. You burn that video. Ty Lee supposedly got a video that's going to make Burrow's play figured out. He get rid of it. Kirkwood.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Kirkwood, appreciate you, my man. I'm going to need a whiteboard session, improve ideas, Superflex. Okay, let me do that. Let me put that aside real quickly, and I'll come for that in a second. Brian, super chat here.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Brian, I appreciate your super chat. I love the show because you focus on overlooked talent. I think adding Puka to the Moon Men list violates the buy low thesis. Top dollar now for a player who is destined to break out or return to obscurity with Stafford drops. I mean, it's a good point as to like how we put someone on the Moon Men list, but I think at the same time though, I'm seeing a lot of trades where he is being included in deals where somebody can get, like, example, trade away Jamar Chase for an Olave and Puka or something. And honestly, I think there's still value to get and acquire him. I think some people are thinking he might fall away and some people don't. So it just depends. But I get what you're saying, Brian. It's a good point, and we'll keep it in mind when we add or remove or change it. I also think I did it out of respect for Puka and what he did. You know what I'm saying, Brian? It's like my way of apologizing to Puka. But I think he needs to be on the list for that reason alone, even if everybody else has more of a buy low perspective to them. So it's a very good point and a good reminder for the next guys that we add. Wide receiver to target with Wilson. Thanks again for your $25 hauler. Wide receiver to target with Wilson and Swift. The top of the top, bro. We're talking about Diggs. We're talking about Hill. We're talking about Chase if Burrow's back and healthy, but we need to wait on that. That was a crazy play there. I thought they were going to get a flag. Mike Thomas was looking for a flag. Mike Thomas is out there doing work. He doesn't... What's his stat line so far? Can someone give me a stat line? Nathan says, I appreciate Nathan at least remembering some of my... I am a little mad at myself. Because Nathan says, Smitty, you were higher on Puka than anyone in the preseason. I'm a little mad at myself, Nathan, that I didn't stick to my guns. We had him on a lot of best ball content. Mike Thomas pulling in. Oh, no, incomplete. Thank you, Nathan. Appreciate you acknowledging that at least. Because a lot of people won't believe that. Overcome, wide receiver to target. Again, top of the top, bro. If you're going to give up Garrett Wilson and Swift, you must get a Chase if we believe Burrow's back, a Hill, a Diggs. I don't even know if like Olave or St. Brown is high enough for that. You know what I mean? Because Swift could be that valuable. Now, if you believe Swift's going to fall away into the abyss, then I understand. Jacobs and Addison for ETN and Christian Watson. I think there's pros and cons to that. I would lean Christian Watson and ETN, to be honest with you, because I think ETN is a baller, and I think Christian Watson comes back in strong. Would you trade Gibbs and Hopkins for Chase? At this current moment in time, not until we get clarification on Joseph Cigar Smoking Burrow, bro. Not until then. No chance I'm necessarily putting my whole season on the line. Let's see here. Trade Ridley for a running back. Yeah, but who do you get? If Are there any running backs like Pollard? I take Pollard. Are there any other running backs in that territory of RB that I feel confident enough to trade Ridley for? No. So that means you have to go get, and you don't have Gibbs here, but like a Gibbs and a receiver, a Gibbs and a player, a Breece Hall and a player. You be forced to use your one player in Ridley to get two players, and a doubted combination at that. And so your selection must be very, very meticulous. Taysom Hill's getting used a lot in running situations. Thank you, Chris, for the super chat. Appreciate you. Overcome, thank you. Ty Lee, thank you for your super chat. And then again, I got these two, the $20 hauler. I'm going to do the marker board session. 1 second. I'm just trying to clear out these super chats here, bro. Appreciate you very much. Saul, again, thank you for your super chat on the Kenneth Walker, Garrett Wilson. I'd rather have Kenneth Walker right now. Alex, thanks again for your question and super chat. Chris, hopefully that helped you with the running back question, but definitely Ridley can get you a Breece Hall and somebody solid at wide receiver, a Gibbs and somebody solid, but that's your only move. As far as this $20 hauler, let me take this on over to the marker board sesh here. And I'm going to need a whiteboard session. Allen. Carr back to pass. Oh, Olave. Son of a B. Allen. Oh, God. Love. I mean, you got some nice trade value here, unless this is a 2 QB, and I don't see that it is. Oh, it is Superflex. Perfect. God, you got two amazing quarterbacks, bro. Fantastic. You're going to dominate this league if your other guys even put it together at all. Wilson, JSN, Pickens. Wilson, JSN. These are good receivers. I know they don't feel like it right now, but they can definitely, I think, bring it home for you. Pickens as well. Let's wait on him tonight. He's had one game, and people are freaking out on Pickens already. Breece Hall, Pierce, Walker, Bijan. You've got a really good team. Bijan. Walker. What can you do with this team? Maybe a Pierce, trade a Pierce, and if you can get rid of from a running back needy team that sees some value in Pierce, and I'm not saying to give him away, but I'm part of me is wondering if you can package Pierce and Wilson, Pierce and JSN, Pierce and Pickens, for just a doubted, like an AJ Brown, bro, a doubted player, even a Deebo Samuel who scored, and I think people are kind of excited about him, but kind of not at the same time. So definitely feel like, those are good avenues to take. You're not going to get a Ridley, but you could try. You could go after the Jamar Chase owner, because Jamar Chase owners are kind of panicking. Those are moves to make. As far as other wide receivers, if I take a look at my thefantasyfootballshow.com rankings, and you can find your rankings there. Go Forward rankings are all updated with everything that's happened. I look at a player like AJ Brown. I look at a player like Deebo. I look at a player like potentially, Garrett Wilson's an interesting player to go get for people that don't have him. You already have him, so that takes that off of the board here for you. I would say that Deebo and Ridley being banged up, maybe Ridley, maybe you go get, maybe you take Wilson and Pearson, go get Ridley. Because if you took Wilson and Pierce off of this team, and you have Pickens, JSN, and Ridley, I like that a lot. If Olave has a bad game tonight, trade that off for Olave. But don't sell Garrett Wilson for peanuts on the, pennies on the dollar, for peanuts on the dollar, bro. There's just no sense in doing that. But your team's really good. Like, your quarterbacks are so good. Do not trade them. You're better off trying to figure out and waiting on those players that are maybe underperforming, or trading for Deebo's, or trading for Jahmyr Gibbs, in a flex role. You could trade Walker. Another move for you, Kirkwood, trade Walker down to Gibbs to get the Debo. You know what I mean? Or to get the Christian Watson before he bounces back and has a nice little rebound. Gonna be 0-2 in a league. Where can I upgrade my roster? Tila, Amon-Ra, Olave, Gibbs, Bijan, Muth. Bro, this is a really, really good team. You're going to be fine. I don't know that I'm panicking if I'm you. I don't know that I'm making crazy trades if I'm you. I don't think I would trade off Bijan, Gibbs, Olave, or Amon-Ra. So what's that put you at? DJ Moore, who's taking him? Pacheco, who's going to buy him? JSN, who's going to buy him? This is a stand-down team, and believe in the process for what your team is and how you built it, and understand that it's going to be a solid team. I promise you that team is one that I would take in gladly into the remaining part of the season. You stand down on your team. There's no move to make. You just probably dismantle it.
Alert. Stand down order in effect.
And this one from Lewis. Hey, just subbed for the Insta voice message. A little confused about how to use it. I'm going to put a message up in a minute, and you have 24 hours to leave a voicemail. Okay? So you'll see that just pop up in your DMs. Okay? So appreciate you, Lewis. And also add you to the private group. There's a private group that you'll be a part of. Thoughts on Nico right now? He's a good 3-4. I like Tank Dell a little bit better than Nico. Nico caught a pass that wasn't meant for him in the end zone. He kind of ball hogged that. But Tank looked really good. I like Tank a little more than Nico. But Nico's an intriguing player. A good wide receiver 4 with some upside to be your wide receiver 3, depending on what we're looking at. Would you trade Gibbs for Hopkins and Chase? That was that one we talked about. Gibbs and Hopkins for Chase. We wait on that. We wait on that on the Burrow news. Maybe have it offered to you. Hover over the button and just wait, bro. Appreciate you guys all for rolling in here. Will Tank Bigsby get some touches? He could. Thank you, Alex. Appreciate you. Olave right now. Love Olave. His stat line is, let me pull up the stats right now. His stat line, he almost had a touchdown grab there. It was congested, thrown into some congestion, but he's got 1 catch for 3 yards right now. So I'm not saying I want him to finish low. I think he like last week, he blew up in the second half. He definitely could do that, especially when they're throwing the ball and Carr's in throw mode. Like Carr goes into like air yardage attack in the third, fourth quarter, especially when they're down or something. So Olave is always going to be a gamer at the end of games. But if he comes out of this week without big stats, I'm going to be telling everybody to buy low. He's the first person, one of the first persons I thought of when I said, okay, the Moon Men list is not changing entirely. We're just going to rip everything down and rebuild it brick by brick with some of the same players.
The Moon Men, dropping loads in outer space.
And again, Puka is on here out of respect.
Space Moon says,
I don't know that, like mentioned earlier by, I forget who it was that dropped a $25 hauler. Who was that? That was Brian, right? Brian, as Brian said, like, is he a buy low guy, which is the nature of Moonmen and Marsmen value board? No, but he is being thrown around still in some weird creative ways that I think makes some sense. So, again, Alex, nice team, bro. Stand down, bro. Stand down on that squad. You got a nice squad. Just traded Andrews and Jacoby for Debo and Mostert live. Andrews and Jacobs for Debo and Mostert. I could get behind that. There's pros and cons to both sides on that, but I do feel like that could work out for you in a way that especially if you have a decent, tight end that you can throw in there. But I like that. I'm not mad at that at all. Mars Men.
He's on a shuttle to Mars. Mars Men.
These guys are already on the Mars Men list. Like, everybody needs to understand that.
Loads dropping and spinning aimlessly in space.
It's not like these are 2 players that are brand new to the Moon Men list, okay? These are not players that are brand new to the Moon Men list, the Mars Men list. These are players that are already on or were on the Mars Men list, and we're just going to reconstruct for your own good. Why would anybody not want this list revamped? And to be honest with you, it's something I should have done. No matter how well the Moon or Marsman list is doing, we should have a revolving door on who are the guys to have right now. Who are the players we want to go get right now? So keep that in mind. Carr is trash. He might be in some ways D-Philly, but he knows how to throw the football down the field and throw some air yards under it. Take down the Moonman list. Smitty, how are you going to take down the Moonman list? And we have already drafted what you said from it. Fantasy BDM, I've already explained this 500,000 times. Why would you not want me to have an evolving list of players that changes with injuries and everything? Am I supposed to just stick to whatever I said at the preseason and not adjust and adapt? We're an adjust and adapt country. We still have the list. The list hasn't gone anywhere. Like, this is madness to even have to explain this. It's craziness. Anyway. Breece Hall's upset. He wants the ball. I think he does get his way. They did have a plan to ease him in, so this is all part of the plan. It's not like they're doing anything differently than what they told us. The question is, will they do what they told us, which is unleash him at some point? Guys that we need to be careful not to overlook. Evans has been balling, and he's going to continue to ball. This is a steal. In best ball drafts, he was definitely a guy we targeted as a group over and over and over in that like six round territory. We got him in the 7th round sometimes. Let me go to the... Do we have a quad box? Is there a quad box for... Yes, there's a quad box for the 2 Monday nights. I just found it. Unbelievable. I didn't know the quad box was here for it. Or I'm sorry, not the quad box. The dual box. The Duch box is available. Okay, love seeing that happen to Watson. Wilson is not consistent. You probably could have received more than Swift. All right, guys, appreciate you very much. Tylee, appreciate your super chat. I'm not going to lie, I never heard you talk about Evans in the offseason. Sounds like you just want to come in hating today, BDM, to be honest with you. Because that's like the second hater comment in a row. So you do what you got to do, bro. I don't have to prove to you what I've said. I go live for sometimes 6 hours in a day. So you think you haven't heard something, that's fine. You throw whatever casted doubt you want on that. That's fine with me, bro. It is what it is. Go! Man, that's crazy. Watson. That Pittsburgh D. Ron's in here. Ron, congrats on the Pittsburgh Steelers bouncing back just a little bit. Need to trade Jalen Hurts for running back. You should be able to get a lot, but the question is, who's a top 5 running back right now? You know, I like the idea of going and getting a Gibbs and a wide receiver like A.J. Brown. That's, you know, that way you're not banking on Hurts for just a running back like Chubb and he doesn't perform or something like that. You go get yourself 2 players like that. Here you go, BDM. Whatever the hell your name was. Smitty is the reason I got Evans in round 7. What do you mean? There you go. You can't please everybody. Am I a little testy tonight? Yeah, I'm a little testy. A little bit. I admit it. It's okay. You know, it's just, you know, you come in here with a process tonight, and I didn't think everybody would be excited. I thought maybe there would be some confusion on it. You know, why are we resetting things? We're adjusting and adapting. And there's no reason we can't look at things from a fresh perspective. Like, why would we not? Why would you want me to come out here and double down on things that are changing and evolving? I thought it would be more simply received. But I don't know. Kyren for Puka. Puka's better. I love having the dual screen here. Tell Carr that Olave is a Marsman. Carr! Derek Carr, please report to the Moon Men meeting. You need to know your personnel. You have a spaceman that has not been let out into the atmosphere. Watson on the run. And by the way, you know, Amari Cooper, for those that were earlier in the week asking all kinds of Amari Cooper questions, he was super questionable walking into this game. He was going to go out and warm up. He went out, warmed up, and then he played. So for anybody that was like wavering, you couldn't let that go. You know what I mean? You had to assume he was out. So don't beat yourself up if you started somebody that didn't do anything and you're seeing Amari Cooper on the field. It wasn't supposed to play necessarily, so you had to do that. Trade Henry for Swift and Debo. Jordan, I'd probably take that trade. I'd probably take that trade, bro. That's a decent haul. And Henry looks good, but he kind of feels like he's like Garrett Wilson does in a way, skating by, like getting not lucky, but getting fortunate and getting the work that he gets. Yeah, Travis, I know there's some confusion, and I'm gonna figure out how to address it. Maybe I rename it. Maybe the Marsmen Moon Men list will be preseason only, and maybe I make it Jupiter and Pluto. I don't know. You know, I have a feeling there's going to be some confusion. Maybe I need to roll in here next show and say, okay, the Moon Men and Mars Men list are preseason. I have a feeling people aren't going to accept it. Maybe let's go in there. You know, I'll get some new audio for it.
The Moon Men, dropping loads in outer space.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Space Moon
I don't doubt. And Travis, I'm not saying you're not upsetting me by saying that. I'm just like, maybe there is no Moon Men list during the season. If that's the way we got to do this. Pluto is not a planet. Does that matter? Does that matter? I don't know. We'll look into it. Honestly, I don't care if there's some people that are upset, but I mean, it says it right on the screen. In season.
The Moon Men.
In season, go forward. The go forward Moon Men list. How about that? How about that? We just refer to it as the go forward Moon Men list. The go forward Moon Men list. Okay? I wasn't yelling at you, Travis. The airlock list. Who are we throwing in the airlock? That's what I need to do. I need to come up with an airlock list. Throw him the airlock and let him go. Jay with a $2 hauler. Brian Robinson for Josh Allen. Brian Robinson for Breece Hall. I have Burrow. No. Burrow. You might not have Burrow, Jay. Trade Burrow for Breece Hall. Don't be trading Josh Allen, who's absolutely, looking like a beast for you. Appreciate you, Smitty. Forget the haters. Name the in-season list. The adapter shuttle. That's a good, well, maybe something to adjust an adapt shuttle. Vega says offer on the table Swift and Addison for Cam. Is Kamara and Sutton. It's got to be Kamara. Kamara, Sutton, Swift and Addison by a mile. The Swift and Addison side by a mile, bro. I love Kamara, but no. Swift is already like equivalent or higher than Kamara, you know. Need to trade Jalen Hurts for a running back. Oscar, as I was saying on that one, I'm going after that Gibbs or Hall with an additional big wide receiver. I think that is the move to make. It dilutes your risk too in a very nice and crafty way, my guy. A nice crafty way. You get a Jahmyr Gibbs and a Debo out of a Jalen Hurts. Now you have two players. 12-team PPR, bottom two missed the playoffs. T-Law, Love, Tony Pollard, Hall, Pierce, Chase, Ridley. Very good squad. You've been struggling with first of all, put Love into your starting lineup. Tony Pollard and Hall will bounce back. Pierce could go to the bench. Chase, we're waiting on that. If you could trade Chase away for a St. Brown right now with some speculation and some risk that maybe Joe Burrow plays and you're like, damn it, I should have did that. You could do it. You could trade him ahead of any news of Burrow going on IR or whatever. London is obviously potentially back on a saddle. Christian Watson will be back. Trade ideas, I think, just are maybe go to a QB needy team, or you say, look, I'm going to hold on to both quarterbacks, but Pierce and potentially London, who did well, maybe you can go get a player like Jahmyr Gibbs on the cheap or a wide receiver. I keep saying Debo, I keep saying A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown would be fantastic using London and Pierce if you could get that done. Raul, appreciate you got offered Lamar for Fields and Puka. I'd probably rather have Fields and Puka because I think Fields still scored 2 touchdowns. Like, as mad as we are at Fields, he still scored 2 touchdowns. Unless you're in a crazy scoring for like fumbles and interceptions, he scored 18 points in one of my leagues, 16 in my other. You know what I mean? Got offered Fields for Joe Burrow. I have Love on the bench. I take Joe Burrow over Fields, even with the potential, missed time. If he even has missed time. Steve, appreciate you. And is this the one I did? Yeah. Jamar. Again, you've got Ridley already, but St. Brown would be good. A.J. Brown. You could trade Chase for A.J. Brown and something, Steve. Thank you for the $10.
To the moon.
That would be good. Chase for A.J. Brown and something, my bro. That's what I would probably do if I was you. It's somewhat risky, but it's a smooth move to make. And then this offer from Chip. Chip, appreciate your $15 hauler.
To the moon.
$15 hauler here. May need a whiteboard. Will be 0-2. QBs or Fields, Cousins, running backs or Pierce. So Cousins is your safer start right now, for sure. Until things shape up or whatever. Or Pierce and Williams is rough right now. Pierce is, but you went light at running back by design, and then your receiving room is pretty damn solid. And I don't know that I necessarily destroy it, but could you trade Amon-Ra away right now? It depends, like AJ, my advice for you, Devontae Smith, this is a really good team. I didn't have the whiteboard up. D. Smith, your move here is the same move I was given to that guy. You go get AJB. I need to get another marker in here somewhere. I got a pack here. You trade AJB. I did order new ones. This is my last one, but I think the pack might be even outside from Amazon. You trade one of these wide receivers for AJB and an RB to the tune of, like, you get Hall or Gibbs and you give up something. So AJB, and I don't know which one you'd trade, but you trade away one of them and you get Gibbs or you get Hall And I don't even know that you necessarily trade one of these guys. You might even be able to trade another one. But I feel like AJB is a nice, smart downgrade to get that RB card just through an interception. Past that, I mean, I'm banking on those freaking wide receivers, bro, but that is probably the best. A Debo and a Hall. A Debo and a Gibbs for one wide receiver makes sense too. So go to the Gibbs owner, go to the Hall owner, see if they've got a combination of things that can help you. Adjusting the Moonman list and adapting is what's happening. Just means you are honest and not stubborn. Thank you, Efren. Appreciate you respecting the process and why I'm doing it. For anybody that thinks I'm doing it to like get out of something, like you obviously don't know me very well. Trade Connor and Love for Javonte and might throw in Burrow. Keep Love. Look, Love is here for a reason.
The Moon Men, dropping loads in outer space.
You gotta respect it. Game respects game, bro. Respect it. Well, here's the thing. Who would your quarterback be if you traded Love for Burrow in this situation? I think Love's better, though. You know, right now, Love is... I don't think I do it, but I would be curious what your QB situation would look like. Call new list, the Rocket Man. I don't know that I want to rename it. I don't want to rename it. Selby dropped a $10 holler, but then the message isn't there, I don't think. Let me see. With the failed Moonman landing graphic, astronaut list with a failed... No, thanks. But thank you for the super chat, JCIM. I appreciate your attempt there. Surprise... Call it surprise breakouts. No, I think we're gonna keep it. We're gonna keep it Moonman and Marsman. The whole point of the list is to, I mean, that's the nature of the show. But I appreciate all the suggestions. Thank you, Shelby, for dropping the super chat. I don't see a message in there. I'll try and look and see if you have anything else that came flying in here. Appreciate you. Thank you for dropping the super chat. Thank you, Young. Thank you, JCM. Thank you, Ron Navy. Thank you, Jay. Jay, I am curious to know who your quarterback would be. Efren, appreciate you. Chip, appreciate you. Raul, appreciate you. Cleveland Browns, pick off Kenny Pickett. Put some respect on somebody's name. I'm not going to tolerate less. Thank you. Oh, man, it's okay. It is what it is, bro. Show your previous movement list. Shows how hard to predict production. We still got all kinds of time, too. You know, the fact that we've got Chase and Burrow on the Marsmen list pains me because of Burrow's injury right now. And, you know, if I'm looking back on the Cav, is the Cav something I'll take responsibility. Is the Cavs something I should have said, you know what, like I did with Najee last year, when we love Najee, and then as soon as we heard about the foot, we said, gather around, time to have a little emergency meeting, we're running. And it was the right move to make. I mean, he did well at the end of the year, but we ran for the injury. Love is on your bench, then I probably would take the idea of Burrow if Love is on your bench. So that's not a bad move, I suppose. Is it my bad for... And maybe Joe Burrow's going to be fine. Maybe he doesn't miss a single game and he bounces back, whatever. But if he misses 3 games, goes on IR until after the freaking bye week or something, which is speculation by everybody at this point. Let me remind you, there's no evidence for that. I feel like no one's getting removed from the Moonman list preseason, guys. So somebody's saying remove T-Law from the list. Let's give T-Law some time as well. T-Law was everybody's darling coming out of week 1, and out of week 2, he's no longer. So let's give him some time. But Joe Burrow's calf probably was a red flag that I didn't want to acknowledge. You know, I'm going to always preach taking bias out. I clearly walking into 2024, have some different ways I'm going to look at that. And I've got a process I believe that will help, and we'll go over it in the offseason, detour us from some. It's similar to the red flag scenario situation, and it's going to have different weighting metrics or different formula essentially for red flag weighting and how you weight a red flag. And a calf injury, look at the calf injury that Aaron Rodgers had that turned into a torn Achilles tendon. Look at the calf injury Joe Burrow had that now reemerged. What's the likelihood of that calf injury being red flag worthy to the tune of what a normal red flag would be, and why aren't we weighting the red flags? I will be having a process this offseason that should account for more distribution of risk across different red flags. So hang tight on that. We're going to approach the offseason even different. The offseason is so far away. I just wanted you to know that that's on my mind. I'm always trying to cook up different things, and I'm definitely going to take a different approach walking into this coming season than I ever have before. Guys, I'm going to see you for the waiver wire show after the 2 games. Appreciate you all. Thank you all for the super chats. I will see you tonight. Rax Poker dropping a $2 hauler. Cousins and Pacheco for Burrow. JSN looking bad now. Keep the faith on that one, bro. Keep the faith on that one. Maybe Burrow doesn't miss a game, But Rax, don't keep your head up and keep the faith. Appreciate you all. I will see you all after the game. Thank you for being here. Monday through Friday. Waiver wire show tonight, immediately following the last game.